Mitch, Robert and I revealed last week that you may have a role as a running back. Well, today, you split into the backfield and run for 55 yards. How much do you expect to play running back this season?
You know, I don't know. In the scrimmage, I got to carry. In these practices, I kind of get maybe 2-3 carries. And, you know, it's not necessarily I'm a running back. We take the backs off the field. I'm still split out, but motion to the backfield and run a little bit. And, you know, I love it. So I guess the more the merrier. It's fun, and, you know, I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on it. So, you know, whatever the coaches want, I'm going to do my best to do that. So.
We only see part of practice, but we did see that big run. Describe to those that weren't able to attend practice what happened.
Yeah, so we had no backs on the field. I motioned to the backfield, and it was an outside run right. And so Taysom read it, gave me the ball, and you know we had flow going right, and then I saw a hole in behind me to the left. So I just cut back, made another cut back, and saw daylight. And I guess I read it pretty well, and didn't get touched, and ran to the end zone. So, are you technically the Swiss Army knife receiver? If you want to call it that, yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with you. So,
do you have a goal for, say, a certain amount of touches? You know, receptions, but also maybe carrying the ball in the backfield or kick returns. That kind of.
You know, this is all pretty new, so I haven't made a goal on, you know, how many times I'm going to carry the ball. And
you can tell this to Taysom.
You know, if I do have the opportunity to carry it, I hope Taysom gives it to me, and so I get to run with it a little bit. And so I think you know, each week as we prepare for each opponent that we have, you know, based on the game plan is, you know, if it's 2 carries, if it's 5, if it's none, then you know, whatever my role is, just do my best to do it. So.
Does your role changing a little bit have anything to do with the fact that Jamal's not on the team, maybe more running backs?
I believe so. You know, always losing a great running back like Jamal, it's not something that you want. You know, he's a guy that brings fire, and you know, we're hopeful for him next season to come back. And you know, now that a spot's open, and you know, if that's how they see me, is to kind of provide some speed in the backfield, then you know, I'm gonna do my best to get a little quicker, read the holes a little better, and try and fill somewhat of a hole that Jamal is leaving out. So,
speaking of guys that are out, at least right now, your twin brother Garrett broke his collarbone. How tough is that for him to go through it, and what do you say to him as his brother when something like that happens?
Yeah, it was actually, I think I was a little more emotional than he was. You know, I know the kid so well, and he's my best friend. I love him to death, and you know, I really see we're the same people. We want this so bad, and to see someone that has so much passion and fire for the game to go down with an injury, you know, I kind of picture myself in his shoes, and I just lost it. But you know, the guy's a fighter, and he's going to come back quicker than I think anybody could, and so he'll be back, and so it's tough to see him go through it, but it's really positive experience as well.
How did you end up a receiver and he a DB?
So, funny story, actually. We both walked on as receivers, and we were on scout offense together, and they were short on scout D guys, and so they came to us one scout meeting and was like, hey, we need one of you to come to the defense. And so we kind of looked at each other, and you know, we actually thought that this was going to happen, and so we made the pre-decision that, you know, if they were going to come get one of us, Garrett was going to go play defense. And so...
You discussed it beforehand?
You know...
Twin meeting?
Yeah, we discussed it. We sensed it was coming, and so we were prepared for that, and you know, he's done an amazing job at DB, and so who knows what would have happened if we switched. I don't know.
You've made some growth, and you were a big play receiver last year. I think you had 4 long touchdowns. What do you feel like you have done in the offseason to build off of what you produced last year?
Yeah, so one thing is working with Coach Wintrick has been a tremendous blessing for me, because he's really helped me to you know, stay healthy, keep my legs fresh, and also improve on my quickness. I think that's my strength in my game is my speed and quickness. I'm not going to overpower anybody with, you know, my size, but it's been that, but also spending time in the film room, getting down the offense. You know, I felt like I had a good grasp on it last year, but this year just coming out and improving little things, building chemistry with Taysom, and so those were kind of the things I focused on this summer.
Year 3 under go fast, go hard. What is the strength of the offense now that essentially everyone should know the playbook and that kind of thing, so you take the leap to something else?
I think, honestly, our strength is experience. We lost one guy last year, a great player, but all the guys pretty much are returning, and with everyone returning, that's just, you know, built experience, and you know, we know where everyone's going to be. We know how everyone's running their routes. Taysom knows that, and so with all these guys that have played before and have been at that level, played in big games, you know, we're going to be prepared for anybody. So,
from your perspective, on either side of the ball, which position group has improved the most from last year to now?
Man, that's a good question. Either side of the ball, I got to say the DBs. You know, last spring I felt like the offense really excelled, but you know, coming out this fall, and we saw it this winter, the defensive backs worked really hard, brought fire and intensity to the workouts, and this fall we're seeing it. You know, we're having a little bit more trouble scoring, but that's good for us. You know, we got to work a little harder, and they're really bringing it. So it's been fun to watch.
How much does what you do out there on the practice field actually count to where, hey, we're going to do this in the games? Or if you struggle, you're like, we'll be fine. How do you gauge that?
You know, if we struggle, it's definitely a wake-up call. It's, hey, you know, whatever we do on the practice field is going to translate over to game time and being on the field, especially at Nebraska. You know, we're going to always revert back to our instincts, what we've practiced. And so if we're not on top of our game in practice, and that's what's going to happen when we go to Nebraska. So we got to come out 100%, really focused, and just working on our assignments, catching the ball, protecting, and doing those little things. And if we do that, we'll be ready for games.
If you played Nebraska tomorrow, how confident would you be that you could go into Lincoln and win?
Oh, 100%. You know, not only, you know, I think they've got some more preparation to do. We do as well. But I think with our time, we've really made the most of it with our coaches, our strength coaches, and the players are really dialed in. And so I think, you know, we're ready. So
I've got to ask this before we go. I love the go-to phrases from the position coaches. What is Guy Holliday's go-to phrase for the receivers?
Go-to phrase. Let me think. I mean, he's got so many, and you never know what's coming out of
I've heard a few.
So,
All yelling.
You know, I don't know. I wish I had some time to think about this. I don't know. I think he just screams and whatever comes out. It's just, you know, it's not a go-to phrase. It's just like, hey, just, you know.
Finish!
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, let's go with finish.
Okay, fair enough.
Let me think about that. Let me pay attention next time. I think.
I think with that we're finished.
We'll finish. We'll finish now. Okay.